did say child support twice, so let me start
Okay.
with child support. How in Indiana, how does child support work? I mean, is there a way that say somebody's contemplating divorce, and they want to know if they can even afford that? I hear lots of stories from typically men that they say, I'm getting screwed on this. I have to pay so much money, and then I'll hear also a lot from the woman. He's not paying nearly enough. So I mean, surely that can't be correct. So how is that figured, or what is it even based on?
Well, it's one of those things where if you're the one paying it, you always feel like you're getting screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the one receiving it, you always feel like it's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
And each has probably got a little bit of truth to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Kids are expensive, and child support can be expensive, right? Life is just expensive.
You're right.
And that's just all there is to it. Life is expensive. So I think, each side is probably telling their truth as they're experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Indiana has a setup to where they are trying to give a child the same standard of living that child would have if their two parents had remained as a family unit. Okay? So, man and woman have a child, and they live together as man and wife, right? And as man and wife, they're able to provide a standard of a living of $2,000 a month, right?
Okay.
Separately, they earn whatever. Well, the law is going to try to figure out, okay, let's try to give that child a standard of living of $2,000 a month, because that's what the kid would have if these two parents had stayed together. So they will then take a look at what each person makes and then pool that together, figure out as a percentage what each person is making as a part of that, as a percentage of that total amount. Then factor in a few different things like how many overnights each person's getting, whether or not they're paying anything towards daycare, medical insurance, if they have other children. There's these other credits that can get factored in.
Mm-hmm.
And that is ultimately what is used to figure out a child support order. It is not necessarily a perfect formula,
Mm-hmm.
but that is
A place to start.
right. That is the formula. The law does allow a court to deviate from that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The law does say that formula is the presumed amount that a court should use. But if you have a good reason and a skillful lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
you might be able to convince the court for a whole host of reasons
Sure.
that, hey, we ought to be deviating from this for any number of reasons. I've convinced the court, hey, yes, a case that's coming to mind, I represented a father. Mother didn't have any income, and it was really screwing up his obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was living for free somewhere, and I was introduced as evidence what the average rent for the type of home she was living in for free was, and basically you can use that as a form of income. You should be imputing that as her income, plus these other things she's receiving for free, the board that she's getting for free, the food and utilities, and we imputed income to her, and it helped create a much more fair child support order for the father.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of ways that you can craft a child support order that just tries to fairly and accurately reflect the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard that scenario before too. That exactly what you described, and it sounds like that you're able to paint a clearer picture to the court then on why they should deviate.